Hey, it's Kaufman is Alive. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at a new comic book, Batman number 160. This is Hush 2, Part 3. I've done reviews of issues 158 and 159, the first two parts of this. Sequel to Hush, Jim Lee's return to Batman, his return to drawing interior comics in general, along with Jeff Loeb doing the writing here. Scott Williams is the inker, and Alex Sinclair is doing the colors. And a cool cover by Jim Lee here. This is one that definitely stood out on the shelves. It says Hush about 20 different times here in the background. You know this is a Hush comic. If you didn't know Hush was back, well, now you know. It says it right here on the cover. So, 100 times. And, probably a pretty quick drawing for Jim Lee. Batman kind of in the shadows here. And all they had to do in the background was write Hush 20 times. But a memorable cover, if nothing else. So this series started off kind of with a bang. It was really hot. Everyone was talking about it. But I feel like the hype for it has died down quite a bit now that we're about 3 issues into this. And I don't think the story is necessary. I don't know what people expected, to be honest with you. I don't know what I expected. I'm not necessarily disappointed by anything going on in this story. I think the artwork is pretty darn good by Jim Lee. He's got a very, precision penciling style. And Scott Williams inks, he's probably one of the few guys that can keep up with Jim Lee's really delicate pencil work. So, but like you can, on a drawing like this, everything in the background, so many details in the face, all the cross-hatching lines on the face there, on Hush. We're seeing this all from Bruce's perspective, from his security camera, because in the last issue, we had a confrontation between Batman and Jason Todd, the Red Hood, and he knocked Batman out, and when he came to, the Joker was gone, the Batmobile was gone, and Jason Todd and Hush were gone, although Batman never actually saw Hush. We do see kind of an increased presence of Hush in this story, which is nice, because he's kind of just been in the shadows in the first 2 issues. Really beautiful splash page here of Batman looking ultra serious. He's trying to find Jason, try and figure out what Hush's plan here is. And Hush is clearly like 20 steps ahead of Batman throughout this entire series. And the cover kind of hints at what Batman's going through in this issue. All the paranoia. He doesn't know who's on whose side. He doesn't know if he can trust anybody. He doesn't know if Batman or if Hush has already gotten to all of Batman's allies yet. Jim Gordon realizing that the Joker's still alive. He's been sent this security camera footage of the Batman actually saving the Joker. And then it explodes like in an episode of Inspector Gadget or something. And that's the last we see of Jim Gordon in this issue. I did think Jim Lee was drawing Jim Gordon looking very young. He looks about mid-30s here, to me. But just a stylistic choice. Everyone looks very fit, very young, very attractive in this book. Even Edward Nygma here, he seems kind of aged down. He seems like he's pumped full of steroids, or he's on the juice or something, because he's bulked up a bit. Looks like he's got a face tattoo there now. So, with the question mark over the eye, really coming into the 2020s here with the face tattoo. But he claims to know more about Hush than anybody, but he's willing to work with Nightwing and Batgirl here. He says he knows their identities, which is kind of his bargaining chip, his blackmailing, saying like, well, I know who you are, so you better let me work with you. But one of his riddles is, how can you be in 2 places at once? And then at the end of the issue here, we see Hush with a scalpel to Damian Wayne's neck here, the son of Batman, Robin here. And he uses the exact same phrase. It's a shame you can't be two places at once, he says. You have other knights in jeopardy. Any way you play this, Bruce, 3 Robins die tonight. And that's the final splash page of this issue here. Nicely done. I love the face on Hush. The eyes are just penetratingly serious eyes there by Jim Lee on Hush. And I'll go back here in the story a bit. So Hush's whole plan here has been basically to bring all 3 Robins together, which he succeeds in doing. And as we see the big cliffhanger at the end, threatening to kill them all. So I'd say one of my biggest critiques of this series so far has been Jim Lee in the first Hush. I feel like a lot of the appeal and everything surrounding that book had a lot to do with, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, even Batgirl to an extent. They were all over that book, and Jim Lee draws really sexy women. And we haven't gotten hardly any of that at all so far in this series. We just get a couple panels here with Batgirl, and that's really about it. It's all been about the boys pretty much in this series so far. And to get back to Edward Nygma, the Riddler here, I feel like he's probably working for Hush at this point. He's just setting up Nightwing and Batgirl and Batman here. So this was pretty cool. There's these 2 panels here, these 2 pages that are set up almost identical. That was obviously done on purpose here. Batman and Nightwing both investigating Hush here, climbing up the side of the building with their motorcycle down here at the bottom in the rain. Batman goes to the Wayne Med Tower where he is confronted by this woman working the desk named Amori, and he's trying to find out where this scalpel was made because it doesn't have a serial number on it, but he knows it was made by Wayne Tech. And that's when she kind of reveals herself to actually be working for Hush. She has some sort of metal shape-shifting power, kind of like the T-1000 in Terminator, it looks like. But Batman is pretty much pretty easily able to handle her, but then suddenly we see this giant stop. And we flip over to Nightwing here, and he gets into a confrontation with Jason Todd. I really love these 2 pages. The action and pace really picks up in these 4 pages here with Batman battling Armory and then, or Amori, I guess is probably how it's pronounced. And then the Nightwing Jason Todd battle is pretty classic here. I love the red versus blue, Robin versus Robin. I don't know, I'm not a huge Batman fan. I haven't been reading a whole lot of recent Batman, so I don't know if this is maybe something that's been done recently, but for me, someone who doesn't read a whole lot of Batman, seeing this battle was really cool. And then to have Joker come in here, break it up, pointing the guns at them. He has kind of a weird joke himself. He says, "This is a line I've always wanted to say. Which one of you is faster than a speeding bullet?" Which is a weird thing to say to some Batman characters. You think he might say that to Superman, but at least it's DC oriented. Nonetheless, so getting back to Batman here, we've got these big giant letters. This reminds me of something Jim Lee has done in some X-Men books previously with the big giant lettering over just like some pencil pages, the colors muted to just blue. So this big giant guy who we saw introduced a few issues back, he's kind of Hush's big heavy. We find out he has this sort of sonic emitter from his voice. So every time he speaks, it's deafening. But Batman knows that this is the same tech that he had used on Killer Croc the first time he faced Hush. So he says since then he's also made some improvements, and he's able to block the sonic emitters with a failsafe. He's got an audio block. Then he tries to take this guy out, but he's just too much for Batman. But thankfully for him, right at that time, Damian Wayne shows up, and he's brought Bane with him. And this is a cool page. I feel like it might have been even cooler if we had like a giant double splash page of Bane and Damian Wayne busting through here, but I like some of these panels down here. We get the story told of Bane. He's blocking this dude's sonic emitters by grabbing his throat here. He tells them don't let him speak. It's kind of weird how Bane is being basically used as like their dog, though. He even says, "Sick him, Bane." And that's when we get to the end and Hush shows up and grabs Damian. So I feel like the action really picks up in the second half of this issue, really kind of for the first time in this series, it felt like. So I got to recommend this issue, and there's some previews at the end as well for the Superman Unlimited #1. Dan Slott's the writer, Raphael Albuquerque is the artist, and this story just deals with this giant asteroid that's flying to Earth. Superman thinks he's easily going to stop it, and then he finds out that it's made of solid kryptonite. And his tone quickly changes from hopeful to, "I've let you all down, I failed you, and now everyone on my adopted world will die." So it's kind of abrupt, but... And then there's a preview for Batman and Robin #21 as well. Philip Kennedy Johnson's the writer, and Javi Fernandez is the artist in here. So I like the previews in the back of the DC books. They've been doing that a lot recently. So Batman, Hush 2, Batman #160. This was a $4.99 book. Let me know what you guys think of Hush 2 so far. Are you underwhelmed? Are you blown away? Let me know in the comments. And thanks again for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. If you already have, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Go read comics.